This is me. Whoa. And my dad hasn't been looking at this a lot. And we're just gonna see it. Dad, I found your camera!
Where? Oh, yes. There it is. Man, it's been a while since we've done a video like this.
Yeah.
We should tell everybody what's been going on.
Say it.
Since we returned to Taiwan in January, we opened a new cafe. Aroma Dongyun is doing well, and they're growing into their new community. It's great to see and work with them to fulfill the felt needs of South Wanhua and to share the gospel with them as well.
February marked the start of my first real attempt at language learning. Everything up until this point had been unorganized and sporadic. My training at the Mandarin Training Center was awesome. It was intense. 15 hours of lessons a week and lots of homework to go with that. In March, a part of my molar fell off and it really kind of freaked me out. Luckily, my local dentist was able to patch me up and he really did a stellar job. Additionally, Brittany found a job as well, teaching English to a kindergarten. And Kennedy, she went back to school. April marked the official start of our journey with the Christian Missionary Alliance as we were interviewed and began a pastoral apprenticeship under Chris Odell, the founder of Aroma. May was full of new life as some of our friends who we'd mentored were married and a new believer to the community was baptized. June began a crazy time for Brittany and I as we were made responsible for the Aroma Siemens Cafe. And this came at a time where several of our leaders were going to be stateside for the summer. We jumped in just as a couple of our employees decided they were done, one of which was our manager. And we also knew that later that summer, several of our other employees would be leaving us as well. July included a couple trips to do video, one for the Taiwanese Alliance Church Union, the other for the Chinese Alliance World Fellowship. One was in Taiwan, the other in Thailand, but both were encouraging because I got to see what God was doing amongst our brothers and sisters around the world. August marked the end of our summer cafe experiment, and as we reflected on the last 3 months, we saw God working in our employees' lives. And it was cool. We wrote blogs about it, and you can find those online. Then, September hit. Throughout that cafe experiment I mentioned, Brittany and I quickly realized that the business wasn't where it needed to be. The cafe has been in Ximen for 6 years, and in many ways, we hadn't fully matured into what we could be. We proposed an internal review to evaluate our problems and procedures and prayerfully find solutions that would further our ministry's vision of helping others smell, become, and spread the aroma of Christ. This year, Envision has sent 7 short-term teams who have been a part of our ministry. We've gained 2 new interns and we've baptized 3 individuals that I can think of off the top of my head. We've successfully read through the entire Old Testament with our church, and Chris and myself and others have preached through it as well. But we've also experienced some downs. And 2 of our good friends and colleagues moved back to the US early and rather unexpectedly. Our vision wasn't communicated as clearly as it could have been, and our Ximen manager left with little notice, which prompted the sink or swim situation for Brittany and I in the cafe. Our church remains in a community that's fairly transient, and 2 of our Taiwanese staff also moved on to new opportunities. Now, in the last month, I found out that my grandmother has developed acute leukemia, and my 80-year-old grandfather has gone through emergency surgery to remove a gallstone that has eroded part of his gallbladder. I named this update Real because I want to be real with you. Things feel like they're crashing down right now. And that is the reason I'm making this update. As our church reads through the Old Testament, I've taken note of how often God reminds the Israelites of what He's done for them. In the same way, this video is a sort of summary of how I've seen God bless me and my family this year. God's past faithfulness motivates my hope for the future. This video is an effort to look forward while we look back. Thank the Lord for Jesus, because Christian hope is a choice. It's not based on some fluctuating facts. And to quote my friends at the Bible Project, hope is based on waiting for our God to bring a future that's about as radical as a dead man coming back to life. We'll continue to report back on what's happening, on how the Aroma ministry is moving forward and how my family is doing as well. Until then, though, we put our hope in Christ.